Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ishem, Barakah Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ishem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to Ya'akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the Brother Raya with another video, and I'll be profiling this video on the Timcast YouTube channel titled Massive Surge of Credible UFO Sightings in 2019. Theorists think aliens will reveal themselves, and when you have a true understanding of these scriptures, you know who those aliens are, the angels of the Most High, and you also know that these so-called UFOs that people have been seeing are actually the chariots of the Most High, and they're about to reveal themselves to the entire planet through Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Yahushai HaMashiach is returning to save the elect of his people and his people only, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are the true children of Israel, as well as the Israelite foreigners who will come looking like these heathen nations, and also to wage war with you heathens and put the final nail in the coffin of your rulership, chiefly you Edomites, or so-called white people. This is Revelation chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. The revelation of Yahushai HaMashiach, which the Most High gave unto him, to shew unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Jump down to verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, the chariots. Real quick, Psalm 104, I'm going to start at verse 1. Bless Yahweh, O my soul, O Yahweh my power, thou art very great, thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretchest out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. Point blank period. Clouds in the scriptures are synonymous with the chariots, and Yahushua is returning in a massive chariot, the fathership, which Esdras said he couldn't see the end of in 2 Esdras chapter 13. And every eye shall see him when he cracks those clouds and returns in that massive fathership chariot, and they also which pierced him, which goes to show that reincarnation is biblical, because the centurions that pierced Yahushua in the past are back here today through that reincarnation to receive judgment for what they did unto him. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, Amen. And the reason all kindreds of the earth are going to wail because of him is, one, you don't understand the scriptures, and two, through Esau Edom's brainwashing through these movies and video games, you think Yahushua returning is actually an alien invader coming to kill off everybody, which you're right in a sense, because Yahushua is, again, returning to wage war with you heathens and take away your rulership. But to those in the know, the elect that have the true understanding of these scriptures, we're going to rejoice because we know it's our Savior returning to redeem us. And these times are quickly coming upon us, Akim. As it says in Matthew 24, verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And this gospel of the kingdom has been preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations by the unicorn, which is the internet. And the main Israelite camp that has done so is GMS, or Great Millstone. There are GMS camps in the United States of America, Canada, South America, the UK, Holland, Germany, Romania, Africa, the Philippines, Australia, etc., etc. And that's just the camps we can see because those brothers record themselves. Best believe there are many other camps out there that we don't see since they don't record themselves. And this is what has the powers that be that run this planet, such as the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, squirming in their boots because they understand the scriptures and know that they're Edomites, and know that when Israel starts calling back upon their power and the prophets are out there preaching this word, that whatever kingdom's ruling at the time is going to come to an end. And since they know they're Edomites, they know the judgment of the Edomites. 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery after they're taken out of power before their permanent eradication. And they clearly don't want that, so that's why they're building up this demonization campaign to come against us and take our videos off the internet and take the men of the Lord off the highways and byways by labeling us as so-called black identity extremists, terrorists, and creating false flag terrorist attacks to blame on us. But it's too late for you heathens, especially you Edomites. Everything's been set in stone, and all you can do is sit back and wait for this judgment to come your way, which is quickly coming your way. And to you sincere Akim out there, with all this being the case, now more than ever, you should be pushing this word as hard as you can, having all 10 toes down in this truth to make your calling and election sure, and have that protective hedge of Yahweh Shim Yahushai over you for when this persecution really heats up and we're knee deep in Jacob's trouble. Let's get back to the video.
2019 was a banner year for credible UFO sightings. What could they be? Let me read a little bit of this first, because I want to make sure you have the context. But there have been many credible reports from servicemen, people in the Navy and stuff like that. I think I have some explanations. We also have some other news too on the UFO front. Thousands of government UFO reports are now available at a Canadian university. So we'll come to this one.
And brothers are constantly posting videos on their pages of short clips from people recording UFO sightings all around the planet. As it says back in Matthew 24, verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come, which is quickly coming upon us. Yahushua returning to save his elect is right around the corner.
We'll start with this one. The New York Post reports, it's been a hell of a year for UFOs. Once thought to be fictional works used to sell tabloids, 2019 has been awash with news of UFOs, aliens, and strange phenomenon, including reports complete with video from verifiably sane sources. In May, the Pentagon admitted it investigates UFOs soon after Navy pilots claimed to not only have seen but recorded UFOs during training exercises in 2004 and 2015. In November, another report in Popular Mechanics confirmed that after the 2004 incident, 2 unknown individuals took the data tapes away and wiped the memory from the Navy hard drive. I will stop here and just say, the movie Men in Black, where
I'm going to skip around a little bit in this video. He goes on a few tangents.
Just around the time the Popular Mechanics report was released, unidentified flying objects were captured on video off North Carolina's Outer Banks, and the Army announced a partnership with Blink-182 frontman Tom DeLonge's to the Stars Academy to research alien technology. Now that I can't explain. I don't know what that's all about. But while astronomers say humans finding aliens may take a long time, 2019 was a particularly active year for UFOs visiting Earth. There are some conspiracy theorists who are arguing the governments of the world have always known about aliens. The reason they don't tell us is because everyone would go nuts. There's an episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, where, if you're not familiar with Star Trek, the Prime Directive means they don't interfere with the natural development of a planet, and additionally, they only reveal themselves once a planet develops warp technology, meaning they can travel faster than light. And the reason is they will eventually then collide with alien civilizations, and it's better than to make the introduction. They come across a planet that has just developed warp technology, but it is still divided and very religious. So ultimately, the leader of this planet, president, whatever, decides they shouldn't reveal themselves. One conspiracy theory, I love this one too. This is the one I hope is true. Okay, it's probably not. It's very, 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 very likely not true. It's that all the governments of the world know about aliens, or most of them. They know aliens are real, they know they're here, and they can't tell us because people will lose their minds, too much religion.
The higher-ups across the planet do know that so-called extraterrestrials exist. They understand the scriptures and know that it's the angels and the chariots of the Most High. That's why you see these different countries activating a space force, which goes to show the pride of you heathens, chiefly you Edomites. You honestly think you're going to fight against Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai when he returns. You think you can defeat the power that gave you the knowledge to create that technology that you're going to use against him. And now I'm going to play a quick clip from a speech Ronald Reagan gave back in the 80s to show that the higher-ups have known of a so-called alien invasion for quite some time. And with these devils, you always got to read between the lines.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet...
And you heathens are going to band together to fight against an alien threat, but you're going to fail miserably. This is Revelation chapter 19. I'm going to read verse 11 through 15. And I saw heaven opened, those clouds getting cracked, and behold, a white horse, which is also speaking of the chariot, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Yahushai HaMashiach, coming to make war with you heathens. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And those many crowns signify him taking away the rulership of you different heathen nations. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. And him being clothed in a vesture dipped with blood is symbolic of the mass destruction he's bringing to this planet when he returns. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Those angels, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the almighty power. And the main place Yahweh Shai is going to give you heathens that work is in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or that Middle Eastern region, during the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, that War of Armageddon. This is 2 Esdras chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it, again, that massive chariot, the fathership. And a perfect example of that is the harvester from Independence Day Resurgence, a further example showing that these heathens understand the scriptures. That great mountain, which as Esdras says in verse 7, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. Esdras couldn't see the end of the massive chariot. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. These different heathen nations gathered down in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, the United States of America, the state of Israel, Saudi Arabia, Russia, China, Iran, NATO, etc., etc. In the midst of fighting each other, when Yahushai returns, they're going to stop fighting each other and ally themselves to fight against Yahushai. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, the chariots shooting that concentrated heat, or so-called laser beams. Just think of that movie War of the Worlds. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which had prepared to fight. These different heathen nations, their tanks, their soldiers, their fighter jets, and some of their assets in their space forces, and burned them up, every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke, when I saw this, I was afraid. Again, War of the Worlds, when those laser beams hit people, what did they turn into? Dust and smoke and powder.
religion, nation states. If UFOs landed in the US, Russia might fire nukes. It's all this really bad stuff. But the idea is, once humans grow accustomed to understanding that aliens are real, they can gradually unveil this information. So, this theory is that in 2019, with all of these announcements, they're trying to warm us up to the idea that aliens are real. And that eventually you'll see like a legit sighting and everyone will notice it and say, what was that? But it won't be too shocking because it'll come a year or two after all of these reports already came out. So then people are going to be like, oh, wow, it's one of those things. You'll hear stories in the press saying people saw something, no one knows what it was. And then one day you'll see and you'll be like, I saw one of those things too. What was that? And then in a few years, everyone will start to know aliens are real. A gradual, maybe even a decade. I don't believe.
That's pretty much it with this video, Akim. Hey, we're damn near at the end of this thing, and that persecution is right around the corner. So again, you should have that fire on your spirit to be pushing this word as hard as you can to make your calling and election sure and be saved from these coming calamities, because these times we're coming into are going to be no joke. They're going to be worse than any other time on the face of the earth, even worse than the days of Noah. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim are edified. And as always, I'm going to say Ababa Bol, Kwame Asharala. Till next time, Shalom.